The WNBA draft ratings are officially in, and boy, oh boy, do we have some things to talk about.
Let's talk about something everyone's avoiding. Geno Auriemma, the well-known UConn coach. He's known for giving interviews that come off a bit passive-aggressive. Lately, it feels like he's not a fan of Caitlin Clark, almost like he's the unofficial leader of the anyone but Caitlin group. His top player, Paige Bueckers, just had her moment in the WNBA draft. But compared to all the media hype Caitlin Clark got last year when she was picked number 1, Paige's moment felt quiet, almost like a wake-up call about how things really are.
The last few months, the mainstream media, they have tried to convince us that Paige Bueckers is a draw. Me personally, I think she's a star, but I'm not exactly convinced that she is a draw.
Let's be real. Paige Bueckers' draft wasn't just low-key, it was a major letdown compared to Caitlin Clark's. About 1.3 million people watched Bueckers get picked. When Caitlin Clark entered the draft last year, 2.6 million viewers. That's double the audience, double the hype. And if you think that's just a coincidence, you're not really paying attention.
You'll find a lot of stars, but there's only a handful of draws. There's only a handful of people over the past 40 or 50 years who had the impact, the drawing power to elevate the product into the mainstream.
The media's been working overtime to make Paige Bueckers the next face of women's basketball. ESPN's rolling out the highlights, airing special interviews, and zooming in on Geno Auriemma's signature smirk like it's part of the storyline. But here's the bottom line. No amount of Connecticut hype or coach spin can cover up what the numbers are saying. Caitlin Clark is who the people are watching. Period.
Whether or not Paige Bueckers is a star or a draw, that remains to be seen. Judging by the ratings for the Dump Diver draft the other night, Paige Bueckers is not a mainstream draw yet. WNBA drew 1.3 million viewers the other night for the draft on ESPN. Now, that number, it can be credited 100% to Paige Bueckers because every other player involved was completely unknown.
This isn't about Paige not having talent. She's clearly got it, and no one's arguing that. But when it comes to star power, the kind that fills arenas and dominates sports discussions, that's Caitlin Clark. The draft numbers prove it. Fans made their choice by tuning in for Clark, not all the hype around Geno's team. Let's be honest. Geno Auriemma has a legendary career. He's won more titles than most teams. But lately, his comments don't feel like thoughtful analysis. They come off more like jealousy.
Though 1.3 million is a great number for the WNBA, it is significantly below what Caitlin Clark drew last year. Matter of fact, it's 50% lower than what Caitlin Clark drew last year.
You know that person at Thanksgiving who makes little jabs like, "That's nice, but back in my day." That's exactly how Geno's been acting toward Caitlin Clark for the past 2 seasons.
Great college player like Caitlin was. The delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on she's 3rd or 4th in betting odds on being MVP of the WNBA. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid that it gives women's basketball a bad name. Okay, so the kid was set up for failure right from the beginning.
He's been downplaying Caitlin Clark's stats, acting like her impact isn't that big, and always tossing out reminders that her fans are overhyping her. But now, his top player just got outshined by someone who, surprise, didn't need to play for UConn to become a national star. The UConn hype machine is still running, but it's starting to crack. During the draft, the energy felt off. The interviews were dull, names were messed up, and the whole thing fell flat. Like everyone knew, they were in the shadow of last year's big moment.
I'm here with Anissa and Rakia, and we are holding it down right now. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
It's okay.
Sorry. What?
Go ahead, say your name.
Cheyenne Zellers. I'm so sorry. That is embarrassing. Cheyenne, I apologize by that. Okay. That's so.
Even longtime broadcaster Tim Wilson didn't hold back. He said off-air that this year's draft was nothing like last year's, and he's right. Last year had a true star who made history. This year, it felt like the league was trying to make one.
2025 second most viewed WNBA draft of all time with an average of 1.3 1.25 million viewers with a peak of 1.46 million viewers, up 119% versus 2023. And I know what the question may be, 2023, 2020. Well, Ben, just out of curiosity, because we're all curious around here, right? We all want to be well-informed. What is it compared to the 2024?
So, why do ratings matter? Because in pro sports, ratings aren't just numbers. They translate to money. They determine how much advertisers pay, which sponsors sign on, and how big TV deals get. A 49% drop in viewers isn't something you can just ignore. It's a big marketing problem. It's a bunch of execs panicking. It's someone at ESPN getting a very uncomfortable Zoom call from their boss.
Down 49%. 49% of the audience said, yeah, I'll go watch paint dry instead. In fact, some people, Jason Whitlock, he didn't even realize the WNBA draft took place the other night. He found that out the next morning, that Paige Bueckers and the WNBA draft had actually taken place. Last year, 2.45 million, peaked with 3.09 million, up 307% from the previous high back in 2004.
This is where things get really awkward. ESPN and the WNBA spent months hyping Paige like she was the next big thing, trying to use the same strategy they did for Clark. Big features, non-stop coverage, and hints at a once-in-a-generation moment. But the public didn't buy it. And why would they? With the real deal, Clark, still out there making headlines every night, why settle for a copy?
601,000 from 2004. So 2024 was up 307% from 2004. 1.06 million women viewers was the 2024 draft. Now here we go, folks. This is when we get into the nooks, into the crannies, and into the fun.
And let's not forget social media. Twitter blew up when those numbers dropped. One viral post said, "No Caitlyn, no ratings." Another pointed out, they tried to replace the sun with a flashlight. Harsh but true. The public isn't confused. They've made their choice. Caitlin Clark isn't just part of women's basketball. She is women's basketball right now.
It was last year's draft such a big deal? Well, Caitlin Clark was getting drafted. Reason number one, Caitlin Clark getting drafted. Reason number two, why it was such a big deal. Well, Caitlin Clark was going number one overall. And the third reason why, calling a spade here, these three women, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Cameron Brink. Perfect storm. A perfect storm, a perfect bill of...
And that's exactly what's driving people like Geno Auriemma crazy. It must sting to spend years building the biggest brand in women's college basketball, only to watch a player from Iowa steal the spotlight. Caitlin Clark did what no one outside of UConn has done in years. She made women's basketball must-watch TV. She turned regular season games into major news, packed college gyms like NBA arenas, and she did all of that without Geno's help. In fact, she did it despite the constant criticism from people like him.
Didn't you tell us that in 2004 it was 601,000? My point exactly. They still haven't rebounded from the days of 2004. They still haven't managed to maintain that same audience from 2004 until Caitlin Clark showed up. Until Caitlin Clark arrived on the scene, and then they're going to boast about a measly 1.25 million. You guys want to know what's funny about 1.25 million? 1.25 million is closer to the 601,000 in 2004 than it is to the 2.45 million in 2025. We're already closer to 2004 numbers than we were to 2025 numbers.